Hello and welcome back to my retro watches. This is part 2 of the Avia watch builds. And yes, we've got the 2 watches. Now, I took these apart at least 2 weeks ago and I haven't really looked at them since, other than giving them a good clean. It's always fun when you come back to a watch after a few weeks. Certainly these are 2 completely separate movements. Okay, they are similar, but I've never built these ones before, so I've got to kind of remember where everything goes, so that's going to be a little bit of fun. Plus I want to try and do a first. It might be a YouTube first for all I know, and that is to try and build both watches simultaneously. Should be a bit of fun. It's going to be an absolute git to edit, no doubt, but I'm going to have a go because I can't really fathom building one and then building the other one and try and make that entertaining. So if we try and do the 2 together, then that might be a little bit more fun. And of course, I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So let's get on. Okay, so let's start with the train. It's a little bit more interesting for me because I've got, again, a different angle to my usual. And I'm trying to use my visor, and I'm so used to using loops now. It's just going to make placing these a little bit trickier. Hence the reason the escape there wasn't too clever. Now I have to thank you all for watching the first video. You left some great comments. I've actually learnt quite a lot from the comments as well. A lot of you are very helpful in identifying these movements. And it's really good to see that there's a little community down there that's there to help us all, and certainly to help me. And now we're at the center wheel, so we need to just give that a little bit of Mobius 9010. Just excuse me while I set it up. Now some of the oiling I will try and do on the microscope, but I just like to put a little bit on that jewel. I really am hampered here, I can't see very well at all. Okay, and then we'll move on to the next movement. Oops, have a ping moment straight away. Not a good thing to do. So I just need to concentrate a little bit. The sub-second ones sometimes can be a real pain. They have a real long pinion on them, and you can't always see where they're going. There we are, that one's sitting there. Now there is no jewel on this one, but I'm still erring on the side of caution, probably unnecessarily. But I'm just going to put a little bit of actually D5 on that. It's a little bit thicker, so it'll stay in place. And we'll just put the center wheel. Actually, what am I doing? I'm trying to put the center wheels in both these, and I have to put the barrel in. So I'm being a bit silly, really. And they both have, from memory, separate bridges as well. So we're off to a fantastic start. And always a thrilling moment on my retro watches. You will see all the mistakes as they happen. So just putting some Molykote DX to lubricate the barrel port there. Now the mainsprings I have done off camera. I just took them out, give them a quick clean. They didn't need oiling. They're just manual wind, so you don't want to oil these anyway. We'll just put those center wheels back in. Now this is definitely fun. I don't think I've ever tried to build 2 simultaneously. Okay, now that's done, we can try and put some of the bridges on. So I'm a little bit hampered now by the other movement, the camera, the angle, everything. But that looks like they're all home. The escape, I don't know if you can see that, is spinning quite nicely. And we'll fit the screws. Now, what I will also say, because I forgot, is this has the jewel here. I've actually oiled that already, and I've done it with my auto oiler from the inside. Made a little bit light work. I've also oiled the shock jewels on the main plates, and I've fitted the set-in lever as well. It's just because they're a bit easier to do off camera, a bit more time consuming, and I don't think you necessarily see every single screw that goes into these. So like I say, I'll just screw this up and then we'll put the bridge on that one. So it's now time for bridge number 2. And that's got to go across there somehow. Okay, first mistake straight away. The escape wheel I've actually put in where the pallet should go. The escape wheel should be in that jewel there. There we go. That was perplexing me then for a moment, thinking why doesn't it fit? This is obviously going to be a little bit more tricky, this bridge. We've got to get them all lined up somehow. There we go. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I'm still on camera. Yes. So they're spinning freely now. So again, 2 screws in that one, and that's that bridge complete as well. Okay, cool. We've got 2 more bridges to do now. And then we get to the more fun parts. It really isn't playing for me today. There we go. That one's in position. And then this one as well. I can't recall anything going underneath them. They don't normally. And then this one just isn't quite sitting flat yet. Can't tell if it's hampered by something. There we go, that's down. Okay, so some more screws, and then we'll start putting on the ratchet wheels, the clicks, and so on. Just want to put a touch D5 again in the arbor port here. That's just going to help the barrel friction. And now it's time to fit the clicks. And they've both got completely different click setups. This one has this rather unusual sort of lever that sits in here. And then we have this little tiny spring. Which is quite difficult for me to see. Just seeing if I'm in camera. Okay. And then the ratchet wheel. Now I've got to make sure I've got the right screw, because the one for this and the one for the crown wheel are very similar, but there'll be different threads. And it would help really if I used the right size screwdriver as well at this. So okay, I know you had a lot of finger shot there, but we can see that that one is operating correctly. So now we'll move on to the next one. This one has the more conventional one. Equally can be as frustrating. We have these little shepherd's crook type spring. I'm not sure how much you would have seen of that one. And then once it's in, I need to then fit the click itself, and I need to move the spring at the same time, usually, because the click has a little post on it that has to get on the other side of the spring in order for it to push back on itself all the time to keep it in the gear. Now I'm sure there's a right way to do this, but I don't know what it is. It's an awfully small screw. And I'm honestly not sure if I've put that on the right way. The only way to test it, of course, is to put the ratchet wheel on. No, and of course, look, you see, it's not, it needs to be pushing it into the gear, and it's the opposite way around. So, my bad, I'll have to redo it. Okay, let's try that now. Yeah. Sorry for the silence, having to concentrate making sure that I've done it right. And there we go. That one seems okay. It does seem to stop a bit quicker than I'd like. I would expect it to go a little bit more than that perhaps, but we'll see. So there we go, that's that part done. So we can now concentrate on other parts. So here we are on the microscope, and I've got both pallet forks here ready to oil, and I can see my first major problem, possibly why the watch wasn't running. So you can see the one with the ruby pallets, and that is fine, all nice and clean. Now the other one, they're not ruby. That's not really the worry, because I've seen these sort of coloured ones before, these amber jewels. But we have a broken jewel, and here it is. Now I have to wonder how that has broken, but it is broken nevertheless, and I would be very doubtful that the watch is going to run. So fortunately the ruby one is from the gold colour movement, and obviously the other one is from the P320, if I've got that the right way around. So I'm going to have to source one of those, which is going to be a bit of a pain. I didn't really want to have to spend much more money, but I've already found one on eBay, and I will probably most likely order that. But I don't want to hold the video up any longer, so I'm just going to continue on. Actually, I'll oil the pallet anyway on the good one. We'll fit both pallet forks and just see what happens. Why not? Okay, so the pallet fork has now been installed, so let's try and get the balance in and see if it's going to run. And I can see some life. Let's just get the screw in. And I don't think you'll be able to see this, but I've just got some of the hairspring caught on the gear there. And I can't move it without seeing it a bit closer up. Okay, we're back, and there we have it. The balance is moving, which means that this movement is got plenty of life in it. It's spinning great. I've got a full wind in the mainspring as well. So at the moment, just to my eyes at least, that looks pretty healthy. So I'm very, very pleased about that. At least one is working. However, we say only one is working. Let's bring in the other one, because off camera I put the balance in this one as well, and to my surprise that one's fired up. Despite that broken pallet fork, it still wants to have a bit of life. So I think what we'll do is just quickly put them on the Timegraph. Let's have a little look at the trace, albeit without any oil, etc., and just see what we're working with. Okay, here we go. A bit of freehand. I'm really hampered on my desk right now. And I'm not sure whether you can see that, but there's the trace coming up. Let's just try and get a focus lock on the Timegrapher. There we go. Right, so we've got some fairly parallel lines. Okay, the beat error is astronomically out, but that doesn't look too bad, to be honest with you. I can work with that. We can certainly regulate that a little bit better. Alarmingly no amplitude yet. Normally that should pop up fairly quickly, so it's obviously still calculating that. But again, we've also got no oil on, so that always makes a bit of a difference to the amplitude anyway. And to be fair as well, I'm not too sure what the lift angle is. So just having it at the generic 152, yeah, so there we are, 139. That's really, really bad actually. So as much as I've got something to work with, maybe I've got some more work to do as well. So let's have a look at the other one. Okay, here is watch number 2. And remarkably, we've got, well, reasonable lines. I would have expected to see a lot worse than that. Pretty much same beat error. I'm definitely going to have to go and find the lift angles for these if I can. Once again, no amplitude, but I'm surmising really that the amplitude is going to be a lot lower on this one also. It doesn't look like it's going to come up. So despite having a pallet fork on order, this one still might run without it. Very, very strangely indeed, but there we go. Let's have a better look at these later on. We'll continue with the build, I think, for now, and at least get the movement side done. So we need to fit the crown wheel. And we have the usual washer. And if I can pick it up, the wheel itself. And then its left-handed thread screw. Now, of course, the way to test these would be have the keyless works in. Sorry, I was just concentrating then. Yeah, I'd have to have the keyless works in to check the wiring, but I know that'll be okay. And then we may as well do the same on the other one, which was slightly different. It has this wheel, which I'm pretty sure I've put on wrong way around. Now I can't get a hold of it. What a nuisance. There we go. And then it has this part with its two screws. So I just have to locate the holes, and I'll put the screws in off camera because you don't want to see my fingers any more than is necessary. So once I've got those screws in, by the way, we're just going to turn over. We'll do the dial side, get the keyless works in, and then we're on the home straight. Okay, so it's time for a little bit of oiling. It's going to be Mobius 9010 all the way around. Okay, and we'll just flip it over and do the other side. And we just got a bit of over oil there. This one might not be in focus. Of course, I've done the shock jewel there. And then finally then just the centre wheel jewel here. And I'll just put a little bit on the side ready for the cannon pinion too. Okay, I'll do the same with the other watch. I won't record that, and then we can continue on with the build. Okay, we'll start with the keyless works, put the clutch in. He says, not having my evening tonight. Certain things don't want to play ball. There we go. And then we have the winding pinion. Now I've pre-greased this. Because those two will face each other. And at this point I'll just try, conscious that I've got two watches on the bench, and I never know which one's in shot. So we'll just get the crown into position on that one. Okay, so it doesn't have to be done, but I always just like to put a little tiny bit of oil on the post where the other winding pinion sits. Like so. And then I'm just trying to remember my steps. So we've got to put the cannon pinion on, so we'll do that now as well. If you remember, I've pre-oiled that also. There we go. And then I've got the yoke, and I'm just trying to remember which way the yoke went. It can't have sat on there. Did it come across the other from the other side? Yes, it must have. So yes, the yoke would be like that, and then we had that really peculiar setting lever. At this point in time, it's worth looking back at the old video, because I can't quite remember how that how that sits in there. Oh dear. I'm sure if the yoke went there, where did the spring go? Because we had that funny looking spring. I'm sure that was around here somewhere. So right, okay, I'll be back in a moment. So I'm back after a little interlude there, and I've just actually secured properly now the setting lever. I know the yoke now goes here. I've put a little bit of grease on it as well. We need to fit the minute wheel, and again I'm just going to put a bit of 9010 on the post here, just a tiny amount on the bottom there. Oops. So we can pop the minute wheel on. And then we've got the interesting spring to deal with. And I just need to turn it round. So this is the tricky part really, is trying to figure out how to get this spring first of all into position, but then over all of those. And to be honest, I'm just wondering actually whether it might be, I always do the short piece in and the long piece to fold over, but I'm just thinking now that perhaps that's not such a wise decision this time. This could quite easily go wrong, but I'm really perplexed because it's quite a difficult one. It's sat in this little recess here. And as always, the pressure's on when you're trying to film. Perhaps this is the best time to put my usual disclaimer in. I'm not a professional, I'm just a hobbyist. And you'll see my mistakes as I make them. That's not wanting to go in, is it? I kind of knew all along that this little thing would annoy me. You know, you're worried about it flying away, but there's obviously a knack to getting it on right. And I still can only think that it has to be done this sort of way. But if I'm doing it wrong, let me know in the comments below. Oops. Just can't see how you do it that way. No, that's what's going to happen. It's just going to fly away. Yes, I think that's in, only just, but I think it's in. Oh, okay, right. The setting lever spring. Sits like that, and then I just got to line it up with the hole to get the screw in. Okay, I'll put the screw in, and then we can finish this one off. So we are finally done. It just means the hour wheel would need to fit on, and then the dial washer, and I can dial it and we can put the hands on it. I've just put a little bit of grease again on the setting lever as well, so we can now operate that as it's supposed to. So this movement is now complete. Really pleased with that. We'll click over to the other one now and we'll do the keyless on that, and perhaps I'll just fast forward through that a little bit. I'm always conscious of how long these things are going to go, and I never know until I get into edit. So let's go to the other one. You might notice this has got a crown on, and it's only on temporarily, but it is the crown we're going to be using. I've just screwed it on so we can actually put all the parts on properly. Cannon pinion. Minute wheel. So I think the spring is a little bit easier on this one. Had it upside down. What is it with this screw? Always wants to fall down that hole. Right, use the old pegwood. Guides it in nicely. Okay, that's winding good. Hour wheel. Dial washer. There we go. 2 movements completed. Round of applause. Okay, so let's put the dials on, get the hands on, and move on to the next bit. Okay, there's one done. Now I've just got to repeat the same thing on the other one. Looks good. Definitely looks good. Really pleased. So there we have it, guys. The watches are now completed with the hands on, looking pretty splendid there on the bench, and I'm a little bit relieved, to be honest with you. But now it's on with the case. So what I need to do now is, I've got some of the cases here, so we just need to clean these up a little bit, polish them up, put some new crystals in, sort out the case back on the one, and size that crown as well, because I've got a feeling, looking at that one against this one, that I'm either going to have to take a lot off it, or I might actually have to take a bit off the crown itself. I'm not too sure yet. We'll find out when we try and put it in the watch case itself. So I'm going to show you now how I would do the case back, and all I've got is a flat piece of steel. I've got some P400 wet and dry, and normally you could mount something you were going to do this to for brushing in your movement holder. The trouble is with this case back, sorry, it is literally sits completely flush with the movement holder, which is not ideal because well, I don't really want to damage the movement holder if I can help it, so I'm gonna have to try and do it by hand. So I just tend to wrap the paper around the ends. It just helps a little bit to secure it. And because I'm working on my bench, which is not ideal, but it's a place for filming, I've got a little piece of paper down to try and limit the amount of crap that goes everywhere. So this is what we're looking for, trying to get rid of those sort of stripy bits, and it's just a case of trying to drag it across. And you'll see in the middle there straight away it's coming up. So, you know, it's a bit of labour. I've got a feeling these are slightly dished as well, which might present a problem. Yes, they are. So I'll either try and get it flat, or I can just use some Scotch-Brite, but I need to get under those marks to start with. So we'll see how we get on with this, and see what the results are. Towards the end, or when you get to the end and you think you're about right, that's when you can put your finished marks on and try and get it looking nice and straight, because as you can see here, straight away I'm already out. And it is concerning me a little bit because it's definitely slightly dished. It's wearing only in the middle. So I might have to cut to plan B, which will be the Scotch-Brite. So here's some Scotch-Brite. This is very fine. I don't know whether I'll be able to do the same, but we'll try. I'm going to be running the risk of losing my fingers as well as the steel. But there we go. That's actually coming up a lot better, isn't it? I've now got that annoying flat spot there from trying it the other way. So never mind. We will press on. I'm sure I can get it out. There you go. Already it's starting to fade now. I've got no idea how this is coming out in camera. You know, ultimately I want the writing, so the last pass, if you like, is trying to get as straight as you can. It's probably going as slowly as possible. Something like that. You can see that's now getting better. Still not completely happy with it, and I might do a little bit more off camera, but I think you get the gist. It's not a difficult job at all. I think while we're at it as well, we'll refresh the other one. Why not, if we're doing a proper job? Now this particular Scotch-Brite is made by a company called Merker. I think they're Scandinavian or something like that. And I sell this at work actually. It's very, very good stuff. I've got some of this on my tool page link on my website, so if you do want to try and get hold of some, I really do rate their maroon especially. It's pretty good stuff. So you can see just a few passes of that, it's coming up. Okay, it's not absolutely perfect, but I will get that a lot better, because I want to then concentrate now on trying to show you a little bit how I'm going to get the case a bit better. So for the case, it is gold plated. There is somewhere there was a marker on them. I can't see it off the top of my eyes. Don't know where it is. Yes, it's here on this one, and again I can't read that very well. No. But anyway, it's gold plated, so there's only limited amount of polishing you can do on this, and I just tend to find that good old metal polish and a rag is all you need to try and bring these back a bit. You can also use the bench grinder. I've got not the grinder itself, but I put a polishing wheel on. Just give it a very, very light coat just to get it gleaming, which I might do at the end of this. But I've got a particular part of tarnish here, this slight discoloration, so hopefully this will get that out. And it's just like tea cutting, I suppose. Just a little bit goes a long way. But I've used this stuff on so many watches now that I find it's perfect. And it really doesn't need much to make a big difference. Of course, we want these looking nice, because one of you guys who is watching this now hopefully will be the lucky winner of one of these. So now we've got both running. At least that's one thing for certain we can say, is that one will be given away. The question is, which one is it going to be? The joy, I suppose, as well about this case is there isn't much to it. I mean, the whole idea of this watch is the dial is on show. It's that really cool look. I haven't got anything like it at all. I think the Orient Bambino sort of taken this style on and tried to make it their own. So it's nice to see something that's vintage. So again, we're just going to try and get those lugs. But I think you can kind of get the gist. I will be going at this quite a lot. But you know, if I just polish that up a little bit now, it's already starting to shine. And here where it was discoloured, I can already see that the discoloration's gone. Obviously I've got to get rid of all the polish. So I'll clean those up. Same with the bezel, which is really, really small. I'll do my best on that. As I say, I might just put them on the polishing machine just gently, and then give them a good clean and dry them off, and then I can rebuild properly and we can see the finished watch. So there we go, a little bit of insight as to how I would restore this case. Pretty self-explanatory really, but at least you get to see what I actually do. So the next shot should be the crystal fitting, because I want to talk to you about how to choose a crystal for something like this. So let's talk about crystals. So the original ones I have here, and in both they were slightly different in their profile anyway. It's probably not going to come across on camera. This one is certainly bigger than this one. Both could be replacements given the age of these watches. Now just quickly on the watches themselves, obviously we've got two different movements. From reading the comments on the first video, a lot of you were excellent. You gave me loads of information, and it would appear that both movements are French, and they're all from different decades, so there could be 10 to 20 years difference by the looks of things. It's hard exactly to date, certainly for me anyway. But obviously this model, this design was very popular and they ran it for a long time. So it stands to within reason that they've had new ones, but maybe they haven't. So what you have to do to first of all identify is it a tension ring? And of course on these it's not. Now if you don't know what a tension ring crystal is, I haven't got one to hand, but they would have a little metal ring on the inside, whether it be gold for a gold watch or like a chrome plated one for another, for a steel watch. And they hold the tension, so you have to press them in with a watch press and they snap fit, and then the tension of the ring keeps the crystal in place. But these are old watches and they have this removable bezel, if you remember on the cleaning video, and they literally will just fit in there and clip in. So I was able to obviously realise very quickly that all we needed was an acrylic crystal that was of a dome variety, and of course head off to Cousins, and it was difficult to choose. This Stern Cruise, if however you pronounce it, are very good crystal makers, and on their glass ones I've got the catalogue for the glass ones, and it gives me all the dimensions of the profiles, but I could not find them really for the acrylic ones. So I took a chance. I bought this one, which was a high dome, and this one, which was like a normal dome, because it's difficult to tell you which one was which. And of course, all I needed as well was the dimension. So I measured with my vernier across the diameter, and these are 32mm, hence 32 and 32. So the high dome is this one. And it was quickly apparent when I opened it, to be fair, that was a lot bigger than certainly than the normal one. Here's the normal one. And my initial worry when I was buying them is, well, would the hands foul on them, because that's happened to me before. But we're going to take a chance, because the slimmer one seems to be the same profile as one of these, like this one here. So am I in focus? Yes, I am. So we'll just try. We're going to clean these up a little bit with some wipes, and then I'm going to fit them into the bezels, and then obviously fit them onto the watch. So that's just a little bit of how to identify crystals and how to obviously choose the right ones. Hope that helps. I'm not worried about fingerprints at this stage, because I will be cleaning. Just trying to show you that they will, or they should, just clip in. And as you can see, it's a bit more of a fiddle than I thought it would be. But I know it goes in because I've already done it before. There we go. So it's just clipped home there. So that one's fitted nicely into there. Obviously no waterproofing whatsoever. There's no gasket on these anywhere, certainly not even on the case back. So these watches don't even want to see rain, really. So I'll fit the other one, and then we'll put them onto the watch. So here we go, a little bit of freehand. This is the P320 movement, and it's still got its broken jewel. So I've been trying to play with the regulator, and there we go. So we have a fairly decent amplitude. The beat error is as best as I can get. This thing seems to be ultra sensitive every time I touch the regulator by a micromillimeter, not the regulator, sorry, the stud. Just a micromillimeter will send this thing all over the place. So I'm going to try to improve the rate slightly, but for now I'm going to call that a win. It wasn't running before, it's got a broken jewel, and I'm amazed, to be fair, that I'm getting a reasonably straight trace. And I googled the lift angle, and 52 degrees seemed to be the right one as well. So we're all set. So let's now put the other one on and show you that one. So here we are with the SGT gold version, and that's what I can get it to. There's a little bit of noise in the background, not too sure what that is. This movement, I have to say, does sound a lot different to the other one completely. You can see I've set the lift angle to 49 because that's what the internet tells me. The beat error is at 0.1, rate is -4, and the amplitude looks quite healthily at 252. So the noise does concern me a little bit, but then sometimes that can be just the Timegrapher. If I put the watch case, the watch back on and put it back on again, I'll probably get a smoother reading sometimes. But again, I'm calling that a win from nothing to at least functioning and running fairly well. It's going off again with some weird noise, isn't it? So I don't know. Half of me wants to figure out what that is now. But anyway, you can see that definitely a big improvement. Okay guys, we are at the end of the video and I do hope you've enjoyed it so far. It's great to see that I managed to get both of these watches running, because of course that can only mean one thing. That is that one of you guys, one of you lucky subscribers, is going to win this watch. So first of all, let me just sort of tell you a little bit about it. Of course, the one I'm going to give away is the best one. I couldn't do it any other way. So this is the one here. It's probably not going to come on the camera, so maybe I'll do some close-up shots. It is the one with the gold movement, in part because obviously it's running a little bit better. I haven't got the pallet fork for this one yet, and why not? You know, you guys have supported me for a lot. It's 26,000 subscribers into this channel now. I'm quite overwhelmed by everybody out there who wants to watch my videos, so why not give something back to them? So, you know, the best watch is coming to one of you. Now, it is quite a small watch, of course. It's a dress watch. This thing can't go anywhere near water. There isn't a gasket to be seen anywhere. There's no waterproofing at all. It is measuring 33 mil in diameter, excluding the crown. So it is quite a small one. I do have it on here, and I'll probably try and do some wrist shots and put them over the top of the video now for you. Also, what I really do like is the way that the strap and, well, the lugs are just sitting underneath the case. Now, I've never seen this before, so when you put the strap on, the strap is looking like it's really flush to the case, and that's really a nice feature. I've not seen that in any other watch that I've ever worked on, and to be fair, now I've seen it, I wish I'd seen it on more watches, to be fair, because I'm one of them guys that I don't like to see that little gap. You know, when you put a strap on and it's a straight strap and you've got the little curvature of the case, I like that to be filled. And what a little easy way to do it, to be fair, is just to lower the lugs down and tuck them in a little bit, and then that alleviates that problem. So, how are you going to win this watch? I want to do a bit of channel survey, really take this opportunity. So first of all, of course, you've got to subscribe to the channel, please. I need as many subscribers as I can, because right now YouTube doesn't seem to be promoting the channel very well at all. So please subscribe, please like this video, of course, if you have liked it. And then you need to leave a comment below. And your comment really, for me, is what do you like about the channel, or what do you dislike about the channel? What would you like to see me do in the future? Would you like to just see more watch videos, or would you like me to try and do some kind of tutorials? I'm not sure what I could show you, but I could try and show you something. Perhaps a review of the microscope, perhaps more reviews of some of the watches in my collection, things like that. So I really do like to hear it, because I want to be sort of driven by you guys as well. I do like doing the restoration videos, of course. That'll be the key thing for the channel. But if you guys come up with some suggestions of what you might want to see, then of course I can read those. And every comment, or one comment per person, hopefully I can heart your comment, and that will mean that I've entered you into the draw, because I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it yet. I've done 2 giveaways before, and the star of the show is my daughter Eva, and she is absolutely dying to get back on YouTube and to help draw the lucky winner of this watch. So you'll be meeting her hopefully very soon. I plan to do the draw in, say, 2 weeks. 2 weeks from this, probably the next video will be the announcement of the winner. So I'll have to set a date, I guess, and I don't have a calendar with me right now. So I will put that actually in the description below, and perhaps actually in the comments as well, so you can clearly see when the last day of entry is going to be. Lastly, of course, I need to promote the video, can't even say it, promote the channel as best I can. So if you do want to support me in any way you can, then please hit the tool sale links page, which is the link is in the description below. That will link you to the tools and things that I have affiliate links for eBay and for Amazon. And if you click any of those, it won't cost you any more, but I do get a little bit of a kickback from that. Of course, I've also got a few t-shirts if you wanted to buy those. They're not exactly popular, so I'm not expecting you to rush out and buy any of those at all. But every little thing that you guys do does help the channel to grow, and it does help to do things like this giveaway. I mean, I've probably spent somewhere in the region of about £50 into this watch. I'm not sure what it's probably worth. Probably about that, maybe a bit more. Now it's running and looking really, really good. That's not the point anyway. The money's never been the point, really. It's just about trying to give back to you guys for what you have been giving to me. So yes, definitely check out my website. Also check out my Instagram, please. My Retro Watches. I do try and post a few things on there, projects I'm working on, because I do work on other people's watches now and again, and I'm also always working on something, even if I'm not filming it, and I tend to like to share those. Lastly, of course, the Facebook group. I mention it in every video, but have to do it. It's Retro and Vintage Watches and Restorations. 9,000 plus members all over the world, all different statuses, from professional watchmakers to hobbyists like me to just watch collectors and people who are just starting out as well. So it's a great community to be in, really, really friendly, and you'll get lots of help in there and support. And it's a good place to hang out, so why not? I'm in there nearly every day as well. So I'm going to sum it up. Really do hope you've liked this. Don't forget, enter the draw, leave a comment below. And I will see you, along with my daughter Eva, in the prize draw. I'm afraid there's only going to be one winner. There's only one prize. And actually, I'll just quickly say, the last two that I've done have been won by two individuals, one in Australia and one in Belgium. And they've become quite good friends of mine. They are now in the Facebook group. They are avid watch collectors and repairers themselves. And I'd dearly like to see this one to have that same effect, to go to one of you guys out there, and then, you know, it inspires you to start collecting more if you're not already collecting, of course, and come and join the community. So, okay, I think I've said enough, probably too much. So I'm just going to say bye for now, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks to find out who's going to win. Bye for now.